The mashal that Rashi presents can be traced to a Midrash tanchuma. Question 4 and 5 relates to the changes that Rashi makes as he borrows from the Midrash tanchuma, ostensibly to reflect the pshuta shel mikra approach to the text. Let us digress for a moment and study the Midrash tanchuma, from which Rashi bases his commentary. Amar lefanav, he, Moshe, came to God and said, Ribono shel olam, melech bas v'dam, shemardo alav b'nei hamedina, in which the Bnei HaMedina, the king's subjects, rebel against him. V'amdu v'kilalu et HaMelech, rise up, curse the king, or et shluchav, or his representatives. Imhem asara, or esrim mihem, there could be 10 or 20 people who are involved in this rebellion. Mishalech l'sham ligyonotav, the king dispatches a company of soldiers. V'oseh mimenu andrilamusya, which is a Greek word that the Jastrow translates as the seizure of men, a Greek rite of reprisals, and in general the punishment of men regardless of guilt or innocence. U'mesayef hatoivim im hara'im, and both the good and the bad, the innocent and the guilty, are put to death. Lifi she'einu makir bahem, and this happens because the authorities are not able to distinguish mi marad or mi lo marad, who did and who did not participate in the rebellion. Conversely, mi kibed et hamelech or mi kilala, who expressed respect, honor to the king, or who cursed him. The Midrash goes on to contrast this to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, as expressed in the words of Moshe, Avalata yodea machshavotav shel kol adam, you are familiar with the thoughts of all man, umar shebelevavot v'haklayot yoatzot, the attitudes and the intentions within the individual, v'yitzre briyotecha ata mevin, and ve'ata yodea mi chat u'mi lo chata, you certainly have the ability to discriminate between those who have sinned and those who have not sinned. Mi marad or mi lo marad, those who have rebelled, those who have not rebelled. Ata yodea ruach kol echad ve'echad mihem, you know the intentions, the spirit, the inner thoughts of each and every individual. L'kach ne'emar, it is for this reason, the Midrash tanchuma writes, that Moshe mentioned the words in his introduction, Ke le'elokei haruchot l'chol basar, O compassionate God, who knows the thoughts of all human beings. It's obvious that the Midrash tanchuma is more verbose in creating a certain image. Rashi, on the other hand, is focused upon the pshuta shel mikra of the text, discarding all the flowery language of the Midrash tanchuma, synthesizing the information to the least possible number of words. He does, however, make some cardinal changes. Primarily, the use of the singular when referring to the sinners. Firstly, on the Melech Basav Adam side of the Mashal, we have a situation that, due to the fact that the king is not a Yodea Machshavot, and a Yodea Mi HaChoteh, singular, he cannot identify who the sinner is. The Midrash Tanchuma notes that there were many sinners, Asara, Esrim, 10 or 20. The use of the word choteh singular in of itself is not a problem, as it could be argued that Rashi follows his position of pshuta shel mikra of the text, in which we find that Moshe and Aharon in their petition to HaKadosh Baruch Hu state, Ha'ish echad yecheta, if one man sins, V'al kol ha'eda tiktzov, so clearly this use of the singular by Moshe would be reflected in Rashi's commentary as he develops the contrast between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and a Melech Basav Adam. What is problematic, though, is an internal inconsistency in light of the fact that Rashi in the Mashal suggests that there were many sinners, Shesarcha alav miktzat medina, and then goes on to use the singular both on the Melech Basav Adam side of the Mashal and the HaKadosh Baruch Hu side, where he writes in both instances Mi HaChoteh, singular, rather than, if there were many people involved in the rebellion, the wording should have been Mi HaChoteim, plural.